I actually have a lot of stuff this evening. I'm going to try to go through this quickly, like lightning round style.
I appreciate it.
Quick questions, quick answers type of thing.
I think it's great.
I don't want to be dragging this out. If anybody wants follow-up, they can call me, call Mr. Wright, watch the video in slow motion or something. So first of all, I just want to give a business update. And I got 5 items here. So the construction of the used car superstore at the Weiler Empire on 32, that appears to be completed. At least when I drove past it Sunday morning, the lights were on, so it looked populated. There's a new restaurant coming in to the old Highway 55 location. It's called Clean Eats. That's a chain. I had to look that one up, so I'd never actually heard of them. Third one I have here is in Mount Carmel. You have a new Pigskins Bar and Grill that's going in, and that's going to be at 455 Old State Route 74, and I believe that's the old Sports Page building. The fourth one I have is another business coming in. It's across. This is going to be on Old 74, 778 Old 74, across from Eastgate Mall. Deeper Roots and Massage, Yoga, and Meditation Center. Last one I have, the old Laszlo's location in Withensville will become a David's Kitchen and Bar, and that's expected to open within a few months. Next thing I have, so as you know, gentlemen, I attend monthly the CCTID meetings. That's Clermont County Transportation Improvement District. Mr. Wright is a board member there, and I have 7 items of interest for the public. I want to, again, go through these quickly. The Glen Estee Withensville overpass, that is scheduled to be open to traffic late this year, sometime in the fourth quarter, maybe in December, hopefully before Christmas. The intersection there in front of Myers and the library, that corner, that's supposed to be open to traffic the first week of June, so that's encouraging. The Round Bottom Road bridge replacement is complete, and that is open to traffic. There's a roundabout planned on the Buxton Road into the bend at Provision Living. The timing for that is in the 26 to 27 time frame. There's been no starts on construction there, but it's going to happen. And this one's a little bit iffy. So on Old State Route 74 at Elmont Drive, there's an intersection improvement that is being discussed. The potential project is dependent on funding, which is currently unknown. There's going to be a new traffic light installed on Buxton Road at Red Sunrise. That's in front of West Claremont High School. And that'll probably be later this year. And the last one I have for the TID update is improvements are being considered for the intersection of Mount Carmel Tabasco Road and Clough Pike. Been a lot of consternation about that. And one of the items is potential designs that they're considering, and I've never heard of this. It's something called a peanut roundabout. I'd ask, what is a peanut roundabout? I think it's kind of an oval. Is that the best way to describe it?
It's like 2 ovals stacked together.
There you go, 2 ovals stacked together. Maybe it's called an oval about.
Yeah, except there's no connection in the middle. So you get the oval and the oval, and then you get so hence the peanut. It looks like a peanut. With a shell. Yep, like the planter's guy.
That'll be interesting. I'd like to see them build that there. Okay, and then the last group I have here, and this is, so there's a lot of, on social media, and by the way, these updates I'm giving, a lot of this stuff is people asking me things on social media. So I'm also, I share it there, and I'm sharing it here now. So also, there's a lot of questions out there about aggregation. So we're doing electric aggregation now. We're going to be doing gas aggregation. That's coming up in October, I think, when that one expires. So I came up with 17 questions, and again, I'm going to kind of go through this lightning round style. So, and this is kind of a compilation, and I've kind of, whittled these down a little bit, and some summary level of some of the questions that I've been getting online. So what are the advantages of aggregation to the consumer? So I came up with 3. Price is one of the advantages because, at least currently, it's cheaper than Duke Energy. Now that can change as the market changes. Simplicity, you don't have to do anything. And backstop's the third one. I use aggregation as a backstop. And what I mean by that is, I contract on my own with a private provider, just, by using the Energy Choice Ohio website. And if, let's say I get a 6-month contract, let's say rates go crazy in the next 6 months, and then I go to renew that contract, and now that price is a lot higher than aggregation, and this has happened. Well, then I'm going into aggregation, I'm opting in, and I've done that. So that's what I mean by backstop. So what are the disadvantages of aggregation to the consumer? Well, a lot of people, think it's government overreach, why do we have to opt out? Why can't it be an opt-in? So people don't like the opt-out part. They feel like government's telling them what to do and they don't like it, and I get that. Third item here, how popular is aggregation in Union Township? This wasn't a question I got from the public. Actually, I came up with that on my own. So I got curious. So, how popular is it? So 45% of households are in the aggregation program. 31% of the accounts are with Duke, and 24% of the accounts are with other providers. So I'm in that 24%, but I want to zero in a little bit on that 31% with Duke. So what happens is, so that number's misleading. It's misleading high. And so what happens is, let's say I'm in aggregation, I sell my house, I move. People who buy that house, they have a new account now, and they're going to be with Duke, because they probably never even heard of aggregation, don't even know what it is. Unless they want to get it to be, if they're new to Ohio, they're not even going to know about this energy choice thing. So you're going to have a lot of people with Duke just because of turnover in housing, churn, just people moving in and out. Fourth one I have, why do I have to opt out rather than opt in? Well, that was a vote of the people November 3rd, 2015. So what that means is, if we are going to do aggregation and you get 45% of the people that are using the program, it has to be an opt-out. We don't have a choice on that. How do I permanently opt out? So you go to the PUCO website. So that's a Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, and you get on their do not aggregate list. And so you can just Google PUCO do not aggregate, and you'll be able to find it, or just call his phone number 800-686-7826. The sixth item I have, why can't I permanently opt out of gas aggregation? That was my question, actually. So the answer is the ORC, Ohio Revised Code, state law doesn't require the PUCO to create that option. So that's why you have a permanent opt-out for electric and not for gas. Number 7, does the township or township officials, employees, profit from aggregation? So I hear that one a lot. You guys are getting kickbacks, blah, blah, blah. The answer is 0. Nobody up here gets a dime from any of this. Yeah, somebody's making money, but it's nuts. It's not the township. We get nothing. Number 8, why are prices increasing? Is it the economics of supply, price, and demand, or so-called corporate greed? So I got this question on social media. It had to do with, and I believe he was serious, saying, oh no, it has nothing to do with supply and demand, it's all about corporate greed. Which then brings me to the question, well, okay, when prices come down, it's corporate generosity. So when the EPA, I guess this was 10 years ago or something, is weaponized to go after coal plants, and these coal plants start shutting down, that takes a lot of electricity off the market. And 4 of them shut down just in this immediate area. 2 of them here in Clermont County. Number 9, the aggregation rate isn't always the best deal. Why aren't all energy providers considered for aggregation? So I don't know how many providers there are. There might be a couple of dozen. There's a lot of them out there. And the answer is not all of them bid on the program. And the reason they don't bid on the program is because the small providers, which is the lion's share of them are small providers, they don't have the call center. They don't have the ability to opt out, thousands of people who call to opt out. They just can't service the accounts. They're just not big enough to do it. So they don't bid on aggregation. So it's only really the big boys that even have the opportunity to do it. And that's why you're going to find lower rates online. Number 10, How does the energychoice.ohio.gov apples to apples website work? So just briefly, go to that website. You start in the lower right-hand corner. You select compare electric rates, or compare electric offers. I've walked people over the phone through this. Select a screen called residential. That's the next screen would be residential. Then you select Duke Energy of Ohio. Then select the filters on the left, or sort by any of the columns at the top of the page. So you can sort by price, which I always do. I use some of those filters, looking for like 0 monthly fees, that sort of thing, so you can play with that. Any questions on that, feel free to give me a call, or call Mr. Wright. He gets these calls all the time. Number 11, takes 1 or 2 billing cycles for Duke to establish a new provider. How do consumers thread the needle to know the timing of when to make the switch? This is important to avoid early termination fees or paying the exorbitant market rate. Well, I've been burned on this a couple of times, and very recently, just this past month on gas. I screwed up, my fault, I own it. I wasn't watching my calendar, I missed it, and I wound up going to the market rate. So what's it mean when you go on the market rate? It means, at least in my case, when this has happened, you're paying somewhere between double and triple what you were previously paying. So you never want to make that mistake, which is also one of the reasons why most people don't go into private contracting for these things, because it's something you got to watch, and you're going to get burned if you're not watching it. I can attest to that personally. So the answer to the question is, you want to give it 2 weeks notice. So if you just got your bill and you see the billing date is May the 10th or whatever it was, the service through date, sometime in about 2 weeks from that time period, if you need to make a change or want to make a change, that's the time to do it, because Duke needs about 2 weeks advance notice to get it done. So about the middle of the month is at least if that's when your billing date is the time to do it. So the provider, your provider on the billing date, or the meter read date, I should say, the provider on the meter read date is the provider you're going to have for that entire billing period. Number 12, does Duke handle all billing, distribution, and servicing regardless of who my energy provider is? The answer is yes. Number 13, what about even billing? The answer is yes, no change there, doesn't matter who you're with. 14, are riders a way for energy providers to screw their customers and make them think they're getting a better deal than reality? I've been trying to figure out where this has been coming from. The only thing I can think of is there, in the past, has been unscrupulous actors out there. They're going door to door. Maybe they're in front of Kroger's or something. And I guess I would say buyer beware to a certain extent. If they're not on that apples to apples website where they're heavily regulated, then I guess I'm not sure what you're getting. But as long as they're on that apples to apples website, they're heavily regulated, and you're not going to have any problems in terms of being deceptive. So in terms of the riders, and is that an additional fee that people don't know about? Well, I can tell you, and as anal as I am, I can tell you with mathematical certitude that I've been tracking this stuff on a spreadsheet for 25 years. Yes, I'm really that bad. The riders are built into the rate. They're not in addition to the rate. Number 15, are the distribution charges the same regardless of providers? The answer is yes. Number 16, how can customers report providers who are bad actors? And I've run into some things in this Apple website that I would just describe as sloppy as opposed to deceptive. I just think it's incompetence, frankly. But anyway, you can just Google PUCO, file a complaint, or call the number, 800-686-7826. And finally, what happens at the end of my contract if I don't renew? Well, I think I already answered that one. That means you'll be at the mercy of the market rate, and you don't want that to happen.